Hey, listen, I have a question for you, and that is, do you want to have a joy-filled life? Do you know what the key to having a joy-filled life is? And the answer to that is you have to forget happiness. In order to have joy, you have to forget happiness. And so I want to just spend a couple of minutes here. I've got a couple of tricks and tips for you. Certainly, I am no pro at this. I struggle with this all the time, which is kind of why I wanted to bring it up, because there's this really big difference, right? Because when you look at happiness, happiness is this fleeting feeling. It's something that you end up chasing all of the time. It requires constant pursuit. And frankly, I don't know if you experience this, but for me, the target moves a lot. And what makes me happy today, suddenly, like tomorrow, we find ourselves sort of taking things for granted. And suddenly they don't make you happy anymore. And frankly, a lot of the time, the thing that you think that's going to make you happy, once you get there or once you get it, you realize it actually didn't make you happy at all. As you really, and I was writing all of this stuff down, it struck me that it seemed a lot like a drug, this happiness, right? Last I checked, they have 12-step programs to cure you from those things. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, well, will the car make you happy? Will the girl make you happy? Will the house? Will the watch? Will the status? Like all of these things, will they make you happy? Or will they give you joy? Will the people in your life, like whether they give you approval, will that give you happiness? If somebody agrees with you, will that give you happiness? Will it give you joy? Just as an aside, I'm not saying that if you're a watch person that you shouldn't go out and buy a watch, right? That's not what I'm saying. There's no judgment here, right? There are some people that just absolutely always wanted a Ferrari, and God bless them, they should go out and buy a Ferrari, right? What I'm saying is that if we're looking to the Ferrari to provide joy in our life, it's not it. That's not the thing. It has to start with you. And as I was writing this stuff out, the thought was, what would it look like if life joy didn't have anything to do with anything outside? It was all internal. And I think that's the key, right? When we start talking about happiness versus joy, what we're really looking for is a joy-filled life. The joy-filled life doesn't have anything to do with economics. It doesn't have anything to do with what kind of car you're in or what house you have or who your spouse is. It's an inner peace, one that's completely within you, 100% in your control. Peace. And as I look at it, peace is truly the foundation of what joy really is. And there's only one person you have control of, no matter what you think, no matter how hard you try, you are only in control of you. Trust me on this one, okay? They are your actions. They are your words. They are your thoughts. They are your behaviors. They're your reactions. They're your mindsets. Nobody can do anything to you that can bring out anything wrong. Like, oftentimes we're like, oh yeah, but he said this and it made me. No, it didn't make you anything. You chose to allow influence from outside to impact your inside. I was listening to an interview yesterday. It was Ryan Serhant, the $1 Million Listing star. He was being interviewed by Ed Milet, and he said something that was really cool. So I thought I'd share it with you. He basically went through this whole deal, and we talked a little bit about time management here. And he said, hey, listen, I estimate that after you sleep, like you essentially have about 1,000 minutes each day to use as you please, right? And what he had said was, if I have a client that calls me and rips me for 3 minutes because he or she's angry, I don't allow it to ruin or take or waste the other 997 minutes. It was the 3-minute phone call that the client vented. And he likened it to this idea that if you had $1,000 and you lost $3, would you then turn around and throw away the other $997? I thought that's so awesome, right? It's sort of the idea of our self-control, our peace. Can we be peaceful in the moment so that we can have a joy-filled life? So here's five tips on how to do this. Number one, know the difference of what you can control. I think oftentimes we get into a pattern where we're trying to control things that are outside, and the truth is we just can't. And so you got to really know the difference, right? I can't control, my wife, for example, right? I can't control what she says or how she says it or when she says it or any of those things, right? And of course, who would want to? She's got it all together. But my point is, I'm only in control of myself, right? And if somebody does or says something that I don't like, I can choose to respond, which is the next one. Take a breath, don't react, okay? There's a difference between response and react, right? And that whole thing, remember, responsible is response able, right? Two words put together. You are able to respond. You always want to respond. You don't want to react. The next would be, number 3 is take responsibility. This is owning your stuff, okay? There are no buts, period, end of story, right? So if you do something that you are not happy with, I'm not talking about anybody else, I'm talking about you, right? Other people can remind you, hey, listen, you did this and this is how it made me feel. It's your responsibility to determine whether or not you are sorry, whether or not you needed to change that. And if you are, you take 100% responsibility. There are no buts, right? And I'm sorry doesn't say I am sorry, but, okay? It's just I'm sorry, period. Their response to your apology, their response to what you say and you taking responsibility is none of your business, okay? You are only responsible for yours. So that's number 3. Number 4, let it go. Let it go. Sirhan talking about, hey, listen, you wouldn't let a 3-minute phone call completely take over 1,000 minutes, but how many times have we been guilty of that? I know I have, where I'm like, okay, wait a minute, this one thing happened today and suddenly my whole day's ruined. No, that is not living in peace. And the last one is edit your crew. We all have people in our lives that are the drama kings and queens. If you have somebody in your life who goes to the dark side, who is they react more than they respond, that doesn't take responsibility. If you have somebody in your life who is constantly impacted by things that are external and constantly talking about the drama, edit them or eliminate them, right? I love, that's Bedros Keuilian. Edit or eliminate. And end of the end, control the controllables, release the rest, live in peace, and have a joy-filled life. Hope you guys have an awesome day.